The next news item that caught my attention this week, Scientology penetrating into the public classroom. This story comes from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Apparently, the region, of course, was greatly affected by Katrina, and afterwards, the Scientologists came into the area, came into this one particular school district, and pushing them to adopt a learning program that was developed by none other than L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. They, in fact, employed celebrity Scientologists like John Travolta and Isaac Hayes to help push this through. This teaching program was developed by L. Ron Hubbard to help people learn the material of Scientology, basically to help them study Scientology itself. But then they made it essentially into a standalone its own standalone organization, and have been marketing it and pushing it as its own study technology. It's actually been adopted by a lot of private schools, but this is the first time it's been being adopted by a public school. This is the Prescott Middle School. The concern here is that this is an attempt by the Scientologists to infiltrate the public school system. Now, they claim that the study method is completely separate from Scientology itself, but it is the same methods that would be used in being indoctrinated into Scientology itself. So the concern is that they're just sort of preparing the way for Scientology education. Also, I mean, the claims that are being made for this are just absurd, as you might imagine. Now, here are the techniques. L. Ron Hubbard believed that he had identified specific barriers or hurdles to education. One was what he called the lack of mass, which basically means that people learn better if they have some tangible contact with their study material. The second barrier was trying to teach on too steep a gradient, which basically means that people should learn fundamental ideas and principles before going on to more complex concepts. And then the third was misunderstood words or language, that basically people need to understand the language in order to learn the concepts.
That's genius. I mean, God, he made that up on his own?
These are hardly breakthrough or
that.
Revolutionary ideas. I mean, these are really basic, well-understood concepts. And he just is taking this, like a lot of self-help nonsense, you just package some very commonsensical, already known notions with your own little jargon. And then the other element that L. Ron Hubbard added, this is like the pseudoscientific element, is that he believed that there were physiological or physical tells that you could use in order to identify what kind of problem people were coming up with. For example, if a student yawns, then that yawn indicates they didn't understand a word in the previous learning section. So, and then the teacher may ask them, if a student yawns, find your misunderstood, which is just, I hate that kind of Orwellian newspeak nonsense. But the school district, credulously is spouting that how wonderful it's working, ignoring the fact that at the same time, They pumped a lot of money into the education system. They've gotten a lot of parents to volunteer their time. They reduced the class size so that there's only a student-to-teacher ratio of 5 to 1. Well, of course performance and test scores are up. If you put money into a school district and reduce the student-to-teacher ratio and incorporate parents as volunteers to increase the workforce, of course it's going to have an improvement. But one of the administrators quoted as saying, "I don't have to justify this. What I care about is that it is working and making a difference for children. I don't need to care about anything else."
There's one quote from the article, Steve. It says, other experts, though, question the quality of the program, and some church skeptics, skeptical of the Church of Scientology, fret that it is an insidious plan ultimately aimed at promoting Scientology. No duh. Anything that this church does is self-promotion. Do you think that John Travolta and Isaac Hayes flew out there and they're like, we got to help those kids? I mean, no, not at all.